Welcome to the Third Row Tesla podcast. My name's Safian Farval. With us, we've got our crew. So we've got Viv, Falcon Heavy from Twitter.
Hey, guys.
And then we got Omar Kazi.
Boom.
And then we got Vincent Yu from Tasmanian.
Hi.
And then we got Kristen, K10 from Twitter.
Hey.
Cool. And then we got our special guest. So our special guest today is Isaac. He's a former Tesla employee in the Autopilot division. And yeah, we're really excited to have him here. So he just left there a couple of months ago. And yeah, we're super happy. So Isaac, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Sofian. And I'm really happy to be here on this podcast. Now we've been working to get myself on here, and thanks for inviting me and thanks for having me over. You mentioned, I've worked at Tesla for about 3.5 years. Worked in different divisions. My recent that I worked with in about 10 months was for the Autopilot team. And that actually changed my perspective on Tesla a lot. And it really made me just feel like almost like Elon in terms of the long-term Tesla success of how crazy this Autopilot system is. And that's what I was really pushing to get into. And when I finally got into it, it just blew my mind. So I'm happy to, I was really glad that I got in that team.
What do you mean it blew your mind?
It is, so the technology that we have with Autopilot, I feel like is just so advanced. And because I've done my research, and I've been a car guy myself for a long time. I've had a lot of cars, and I worked on cars.
And you have a Tesla now, right?
I do. I have a Performance Model 3. I had another Model 3 before that.
Nice.
Yeah, and what blew my mind was the technology that we have and that we built, because all the systems and softwares that we have are all internal. We don't use third-party stuff that we had, like other companies, that we have all internal stuff that we do. So all our Autopilot things are internal. And that's what blew my mind, and is that we're working everything within house. And that's why we're able to push so fast and and plan ahead of time and for the future.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah, we're really happy to have you here. I forgot to mention that today's topic is actually the future of Tesla. So we did reach out to Twitter and we got a lot of questions to go through. We don't think we can answer all of them, but we're going to pick a few from there as well. But yeah, I mean, it's really, really awesome. So I guess one of my biggest questions is how come you left?
It was a really hard move. And I was looking. I was actually really not looking to leave Tesla at all. I had a reach out to me multiple times before. I've had some interviews that I was doing with them, and but still didn't want to leave Tesla just because of the vision I had for it. But there's this one opportunity that came up that I just couldn't turn down. And
I understand.
Yeah.
Tesla must be a lot tougher of a place to work than Taco Bell, right? I mean, I know Taco Bell was very, they do laundry for you, all that kind of stuff. Tesla's much more kind of, they work you harder, don't they?
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. You hit the nail on the head with that one. And just for the past week that I've been with Taco Bell, it's already been a crazy ride. So I can't wait for the future. And yes, at Tesla, definitely the work is a lot more intense, but at the end it all makes sense why it's more intense, because there's so much people's eyes on us and on the company that that we have to. There's no room for mistakes. You have to be able to push what you can do the best, pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, where do you think like when you were there up until January, right? So where do you think like Tesla's heading in the future in terms of the technology and the most important aspects of it? I mean, just from your perspective.
From my perspective, are you just looking at Autopilot or just in Tesla technology?
Yeah, I mean, you could start with Autopilot because that was what you were kind of close to, but you said you also worked in other roles, right? So yeah, it's kind of curious. You have a different perspective to us because we're from the outside.
Yeah. With Autopilot, we were working as hard as we can towards making the full FSD a dream to come true, pretty much for everyone. And we were working extra hours pretty much to do as much as we can. And the technology is just evolving itself. like we all know about the autopilot rewrite. That's what we were working on. And that was really showing, as we were working on that, it was showing that it was improving by like thousands of percents, pretty much, not like 1%, 2%. It was a game changer, pretty much. And working on that showed us that, we can do so much better, and this is just a start. And why didn't we think of this earlier? But all that aside, we got it now, and we were doing it, and it was able to, bring up everything all the mistakes that we had in the past with autopilot, like little things that were here and there. Those were all eliminated with this new write-up that we were doing.
Wow.
So that really gave me that showed me that, there's a lot more that's possible, and, things that are happening are going to be crazy. And in the future with Tesla, I worked in service and remote diagnostics for a little bit. And with the service, how service was working before that, service has evolved so much, and it's all from customers' feedback. And that's I haven't really worked a dealership job before to have experienced that. So I wasn't, but when I walked into service, I had no dealership experience pretty much, but I had the general knowledge of how dealerships work. And Tesla was completely different. It didn't even look like I was in a dealership service center. It didn't even look like a service center. It's like, it was just right off the bat, like completely different experience than what I had than what I already knew. It's just the general knowledge that I had. And seeing that evolve so much from having due bills to deal with to making that better and better, then going into delivery and seeing it go, from mayhem to smooth transitions of customers picking up their cars. I lived through Q3 deliveries, which was hell. And
2018 you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah. Seeing all
that's
that.
when I got my Model 3 as well. So
seeing all that and seeing how it has evolved now, because I also work Q4, end of quarter delivery, it was just so much more smooth. And people were in and out. And I think that demand played definitely a big role in that too. And the demand was, much higher in that Q3. And the pressure was much higher. And then as we learned how to smooth that out, it started being much better. But in terms of service, it has evolved so much. So I think the future of service is only starting to get better. It's just going to keep getting better and better and better with software, with software with the car, and then having the vehicle pretty much a computer that tells you everything about the service needs, and then having the service side at the service center also working on computers. It's like a relationship that just not going to end. And I feel like our service department and service at Tesla is just going to be so much more automated and in the future as it gets, that we might not even need service centers. Like when Autopilot conjuncts with joins together with service, your car will go to service itself, and then there's no service centers there to, there's nobody need to be there to help your car.
That's wild.
It's just, those are like things that are just so far in the future, but that are happening. It's going to happen one day or another, but as the technology evolves, and I'm just excited for it to happen.
Yeah, that's true. You have seen service improve a lot, but my understanding of the autopilot rewrite was that basically it's a situation where you guys had multiple cameras and you were running the neural nets on each camera separately and then trying to basically combine the output of those neural nets into some instructions for the car. Whereas now you're compositing all the images together and then running a neural net on that composite view. Is that kind of the crux of the rewrite? Did I get that? Or is there more to it? Or is it something else?
No, that's pretty much what it is. What the rewrite did is it helped us combine all the camera's feeds into one layout, into a 3D layout that made it easier for data to be processed. Because what we used before, data was it was still easy to process data. It just took longer because you had to go individual clip by clip or individual picture by picture. It was a frame shot pretty much. But what the new rewrite did is it helped lay out all those cameras into one view, and then made like a 360 view that helped you map, where in the last program we were able to do 1 to 2. This one 1000 to 2000. So it that many frame difference.
That's also relying on the hardware 3 as well to help you with that.
Yes, to process, because there's no way with the hardware 1 or 2 or hardware 2, it just wouldn't have the capabilities of processing that much feed. With hardware 3, it's smooth like butter.
And then, sorry, just asking the difference between 2.5 and 3 with people that are, I guess they haven't gotten the latest software. Is it still the same software right now? Like, it's pretty much a port of 2.5 to 3 right now. So there's not really much difference except the visualization, right?
Correct.
Okay, so people aren't really missing out then if they don't have hardware 3 yet.
No, they're not missing out on much yet. No.
Yeah,
but
I
would definitely recommend having the hardware 3 because it's just going to be a lot more smoother, a lot more faster interactions with the car and the software.
So people can write in the bugs they find on their vehicles. Are you guys going through all of those and reading them?
I don't know if individually all those bugs are read or not. No, that's a great question. I wasn't actually really sure of that either myself, how the bugs worked. Basically, the system is just so smart that every time a customer or anyone driving a Tesla takes over Autopilot, that automatically comes to us in the Autopilot team. So anytime a system takeover is detected by any individual when Autopilot is active, those are all clips that we review. And we make better, and then that's how neural net learns.
So possibly if there was an issue and they're not seeing it visually how to fix it, they're going back maybe to see what the person QU'd up with a question. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Curious if any of the team that you guys have, I think you were saying, how big was the members of the team for the AI or the neural that you're using?
It's expanding rapidly. I'm not sure if I can share the exact number, but it's expanding rapidly.
Did anybody that works on the teams work on Neuralink as well?
So we have two different teams. There's several divisions of the team of the Autopilot. There's the AI, and then the AI has this division of the coding part, the systems integrating into the system. We have data labelers. So it just branches off into several different groups. Yeah.
So with the data labelers, you guys are also starting to label in 3D, right?
That's what the rewrite is.
Mm-hmm. So basically now the labelers can go in and label a video somehow rather than labeling thousands of individual frames, and that speeds things up.
Right. No, it's essentially still a frame. It is played back to check the videos, played back to check the accuracy of the labeling. It's still frames. However, it's done in 3D, but the 3D just helps us label more. It's still pictures stitched together.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps us, makes it more accurate. And then we do the video playback to help review that.
So are there any outstanding differences in how the Autopilot team works? Do you utilize the Scrum framework, or do you have some kind of individual framework that you use that's optimized for the work you do? What does your workflow look like? I'm just kind of curious about that.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, with the Autopilot, it is pretty much all individual frameworks, just all built in-house. I don't recall using any other third-party frameworks. They're all in-house, and that's what it just works better with our vehicles' camera system, our vehicles' computers that are built in-house. So since everything's built in-house, we had to incorporate the software that teaches the neural net in-house. So and it makes it a lot easier. With the workflow is pretty much you have several different workflows for Autopilot learning different objects, different things. Traffic lights has its own different section. Stop signs have its own different sections. Road markings and etc. Pretty much everything has its own package of workflow. However, once those are all learned by the neural net, then they get combined with things that are relevant to it. Like a traffic light would get combined with like a street sign or a stop sign maybe. And then it just all combines together.
The neural net detectors combined together?
No. So when we have different workflows for it, so the workflows help teach the neural net. There's individual workflows that help teach the neural net, and then once something is like learned and we know that it's playing it back good, then we combine other things to it.
Elon was saying that curbs were hard.
Curbs are really hard.
What's so hard about curves?
Well, the reason why when we were doing when curbs the reason Smart Summon is getting better and better over time, and when we first started working on Smart Summon, as you can all know since you had the car, it was kind of not like, it was laggy, not perfect, and we were trying to just make sure as much as we can to get it to be smooth. And with the older autopilot system that we had before the rewrite, using the cameras, like for curves and stuff, you can only use like the right side repeaters and maybe the backup camera. The angle of which you're seeing it at, seeing a curb, is you're about 80% going 80% like seeing the actual curb, the rest you're guessing because of the distance, how high the curb is, and all that come into play. So that's why it was such a hard thing to actually like label and teach the neural net that that's a curb right there. And when labeling and doing all the labeling on the system, it is very, very complicated, not easy. It has to be, and the accuracy has to be pretty much 100%, or else there's going to be some flaw into it driving around the curb or seeing the curb. So with the new autopilot rewrite, it's going to be a lot much better, because now we can, look around and zoom in, zoom out, and look around and lay that curb into 3D and make it much easier. That's why curbs were hard.
How soon do you think that will be available, to us, actually utilizing hardware 3?
Yeah, I think it's getting close. I don't know if you guys saw that video that broke the internet the other day, where I don't know, I don't even know, because I don't even have it on my car, and I'm in a beta program. So and so we're getting very close. Usually when something like that breaks the news, it should bring up your hopes that we're going to get it soon.
Elon was saying the end of March originally, so should be close.
Yeah, and you might not be seeing some autopilot updates come through to your car, but they're always coming through to your car. It's always getting better.
Yeah. So just have Wi-Fi on, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you saying the car will actually push, new neural nets or other kind of shadow mode stuff behind the scene without requiring a full update?
Correct.
That's amazing.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Is it a system-wide thing, or is it just like vehicle by vehicle? Does it?
It's going to vary from VIN number to built year, model.
So batches.
Okay. So basically everyone on the third row gets the latest updates.
Yeah.
So I've noticed things where it seems like maybe the pedestrian detection or something has improved. Is that something that'll happen, where like the pedestrian detection neural net will actually just download and improve over the air without an update?
Yeah, there's a possibility that can happen. But however, if it's a major like fix issue or bug issue, then you're going to see a software update for that. It's just going to be a lot more. What I mean that helps, what I'm talking about is little things that you won't notice, like the traffic lights becoming brighter, the circumference of those traffic lights being built more, the shape is better. Things like that you're not going to notice. Those things are what are being developed, because as we're working on them, the neural net learns, so it automatically pushes it all to all the cars that it needs to, pretty much. That's amazing. Either if it's a batch or something. So those little things, anything that has to require that you will physically notice yourself, those will require a software update. So like if you see a pedestrian that's much like better movement in the pedestrian, that might require a software update. But if it's like a pedestrian that, that you see like a bunch of them, or like, fading in and out, sometimes when they disappear and they come back, that can be solved without having to have a full software update.
So I'm interested, coming to kind of the side, are you also working on labeling there, or or the app, or what exactly? Yeah.
I could share a little bit. I'm not on the labeling. I am on the labeling, but it's different. It's not, because they're using Lidar and radar, so it kind of does all that pickup for you. So, however, what's like Elon said, Lidar, I'm already starting to see that Lidar and radar have issues in picking up stuff. So that's why, but they still use camera. So it's similar to what I was doing, but...
Could you talk about what do you mean by Lidar and has issues picking things up?
So with Lidar and radar hitting, because it's like a sensor. It's like a light sensor that hits objects and then picks up the shape of that object, right? So when it does that, there's interference around. If there's interference around, you have a broken image. But if you have a camera that picks up the image, you see the actual camera, and then you can write over the picture. But when there's Lidar and radar hitting a picture, hitting an object, but there's interference around, like, other cars or other satellites or other, things that is hitting through, that can be a broken image, which is why it's not dependable. However, because of the amount of sensors, radar sensors and Lidar sensors has on their cars, that becomes much better in terms of picking up a broken image. It's not that frequent, because of the amount of sensors and radars they have. So they have like a full 360 protection on the car. You've probably seen those vans driving around. When I sat in one, I was blown away of the stuff that it was seeing. It was just crazy. It was obviously playing everything in real time and seeing all that. And the cameras just mapped this entire car and entire road around it. Was just insane.
The big device on top, do you think that's going to be something that's minimized a lot more in the future, because it's kind of
ugly?
Yeah. That's no, it's very ugly. It's very. I think that's going to be one of the challenges. That's one of the challenges of minimizing Lidar and radar. I don't think we have that right technology yet to be able to compact that thing so much. The more you compact it, the more things you have to take out of it. So it's not going to perform the same way.
So it's not going to happen soon?
No, definitely not. But does have full self-driving cars on the road right now, permitted for them to drive. But because they're not building at mass, they're allowed to do that. And it's, to be honest, it's scary, but it performs good. It can get around from a point A to a point B from most scenarios.
Is there a backup driver in the vehicle, or is it completely?
There has to be a backup driver in the vehicle. So there's a backup driver in the vehicle for testing, and then they're providing rides. I don't know what other state they're actually permitted to provide rides for employees.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, Phoenix, yeah. So they're working on it, but I think they're a lot further back than Tesla.
So how many test vehicles do you have right now? Can you tell us more?
I think it's around 600.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's around. Yeah, it's definitely more than 500. But I don't know the exact number of how many cars they have. They're building newer ones too.
Are they all minivans?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Sedans too.
I mean, that's really interesting to me because they started this project 10 years ago. Right. They're widely considered to be the leader in self-driving. So it's a little bit surprising to me that they're hiring people from the Autopilot team, and that, you have some of these kinds of opinions after working on the project a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think the main achievement they're trying to get here is different parts of autonomous vehicle experience. With Tesla having data, camera knowledge, and then coming into having the working with Lidar and radar. You're bringing that camera knowledge. So now, you have someone that can work on the camera data and then Lidar and radar data. So that I think that's what, and there's a lot of exchange between Tesla and Apple. I don't know about Apple's self-driving car. I don't know what happened there, but definitely with and Tesla, it's a battle back and forth. But from so far, I haven't been at to speak much, and both systems are just so insanely sophisticated that I think the future is near.
That's really cool. So do you think that, you said that you think Tesla is just so far ahead, but because they're focused on this camera side of things, so right. That's the reason why, right?
So far ahead, yes, that and having more data available to them.
Oh yeah, tons more data.
It's always more data. And has a lot of data too. Don't get that twisted. They have a lot of data, but not the same amount as Tesla. And a lot of data is not enough data.
What do you think about Uber's self-driving division? Do you think there's any chance for them to catch up?
That's a good question. You got me there. I don't know, to be honest. I think yes. I think there is a possibility of catching up, but that's if Tesla stops, which is not going to happen. So it's like a chase. Yeah.
Well, I think the fundamental difference is these Uber and cars are really expensive and they're being produced at low volumes, whereas Tesla's working on something that is being mass produced and has been for some time.
Yeah, and the projects, their systems to build cost a lot of money, so that's why they can't really go public, and they're trying to build a universal system that you'll be able to buy and put into your own car. That's Taco's main goal, and that is a lot more challenging than having a car that comes out the factory with everything already ready to go. So it's at a point you can't really combine the two together or like make the two against each other, because they're kind of working on a self-driving to be universal for all cars, where Tesla's working self-driving for just their own cars, and then they're not. And I think Tesla has plans to expand that and be able to offer that to other cars. But I don't know much more information on that. But from what Elon said, everything's available. Those are the differences between the two.
So you think it could be a possibility that Tesla could license out the skateboard or the Autopilot, the software in the future?
If it gets to that point, I think it is a possibility, yeah.
Cool.
Besides Autopilot, for example, just the mods that I've seen, some crazy mods on Teslas. I love the new Chrome delete on the Model Y. So maybe can you tell us about what kind of mods that you would like to see in future Teslas, or maybe what mods do you have in your own Tesla?
I've heavily modded my Model 3, pretty much.
Oh, tell us.
Mostly aesthetic, a little bit of hardware replacement. But I think in my opinion, I think performance cars of all Teslas should have a little bit more enhancement in terms of appearance. I think that's gonna set a different benchmark and draw a lot of more gasoline customers that are interested in performance cars. For example, having like a Model 3 performance, with all these stuff that we're doing with the Chrome delete, people adding wings, people adding diffusers, the car has the speed and the capability, even beyond just regular cars and gas cars, just so much ahead with the speed and the capability that these are all just going to be visual enhancements. And I think the visual enhancements also speaks a lot about the car. So those are the things I would like to see on a performance Model 3. And seeing the Roadster, I think the Roadster has the highest ability to get that out of the factory. If we do already see a lot of carbon fiber on that car, from the pictures and stuff. The diffusers are different. But I think it also the aerodynamics plays an effect too. So if you have a lot of styling appearances changes or enhancements, that can mess with the aerodynamic and make it a little bit harder. But I definitely want to see more styling appearances on the performance cars at least.
Most definitely.
You think there might be some more on the plaid cars?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I hope.
At least we got Unplugged Performance because they do a great job making mods.
Yeah.
Did you get any of your mods from them?
Yeah, I have from Unplugged Performance. I have my lowering springs from Unplugged Performance. And then I actually was about to go get some brake lines for the track day that just got canceled.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna get my.
I was disappointed about that too.
Yeah, I was gonna go get some braided brake lines and some new pads. The wing. I want to give you guys that story. The wing that I have on my car, it was really a crazy. I was going to work, getting off of 99, going out to San Mateo. I saw this matte blue Model 3 just merging on the highway from the other side, and I see the wing on this car, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool! I've never seen really like a wing like that on a car." So I take a picture of it. And as I roll up to this guy, he puts his window down. He's like, "Dude, your car is so sick." I'm like, "Thank you. I just said the same thing about your car." And yeah, so we were like kind of holding up traffic. People started honking behind us because we were like we were starting a conversation in the middle of the highway. We were both on autopilot. So we were like matching speed and just talking, and these guys are honking behind us. I'm like, okay, man, I have to go because
Were you like in traffic, or were you like going? How fast were you going?
We were going like 40 miles. We had to slow down and like talk to each other. Like we just saw each other's car. We're like, whoa, look at that! And then all of a sudden, people are just honking at us. I'm like, okay, we have to go. So I take off, and I see this guy following me. I actually thought he was like a new employee at Tesla, but he followed me all the way to work. And I thought he was just coming through, like literally, I thought he was like a new employee that just got hired that's starting today. And then he pulled into the parking lot together. I get out. He's like, "Man, I had to follow you. Like your car is built. It just looks so good. And the wing that you were talking about is my company makes the wing." I was like, "Oh, no way." He's like, "Yeah, we make the wing, and this is my Model 3, and I've been testing all the products on my car. And we are trying to branch out and show off the wing. We have a profile, we have a Instagram, and if you want to follow it, and we're making new batches soon. If you want, we can put one on your car, and we just definitely need to get it on there." I was like, "Yeah, I think it looks great." And that's how it happened pretty much. And that's how I got that wing. And I was the first person to get that wing from him. And I don't think he has any other Model 3s with that wing on there. Yeah.
It's pretty special, man.
It's just crazy that it clicks like that. It just happens just like that.
And that says a lot about our community.
Yeah, the Tesla community is great that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always looking out for each other. That's why we do this podcast, because we want to connect together with the community. So yeah, I should probably look at some of these Twitter questions.
I have a good question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are some products you would like to see Tesla make? We're talking about different things being made for Teslas anyways.
Will the surfboard ever get restocked? I want a surfboard.
Yeah, I want another flamethrower.
Yeah, me too. I don't have
They should do another round of those with the Boring Company, or just Tesla branded ones.
Yeah, I want to get a flamethrower. I think I think Tesla should definitely make a lot more cool products, like electric bikes. Not street, not like fully fast street bikes, but like just electric bikes, like what is it? Those scooters that you ride around. I just forgot the name right now. Lime, like Lime,
But Elon said scooters have no dignity.
You did say that.
That's
Yeah,
true.
he did.
That's true. But I think being in the electric business, having the motor capability, it's gonna be a good product. Just bolting on a Tesla motor on anything. Imagine what that would do.
Yeah, incredible.
So is your Model 3 Performance your first Tesla?
No,
There's a story there too.
There's a story there too. So I had one of the first mid-rangers that came out, and I was working in service at that time. I was ready to get another car, but Teslas were just too expensive for me to afford at that time. And then the mid-range dropped, and that was like right there where I can max out to afford one. and I was like, I have to get one. And
Tesla stretch.
keep in mind, I've never owned an automatic car in my life until the Tesla. I've always driven manual and modified cars.
Mm-hmm.
So with exhaust, loud exhaust systems, and like just upgraded cars. So Tesla was my first like official automatic car. I even took my driving test in a manual car. So with that being said, I bought that mid-range Model 3. I had it for about I just fell in love with it like 2 months after. I was like, I can't drive another car. Like I could not drive another gas car. It was just crazy. And I did drive the cars. Like I was working in service, so I was driving X's, S's, 3s, Roadsters left and right. I was in service, and that's what really made me want to buy one, because I wanted to have my own. I was just done with gas cars. So just driving those and going back to my BMW was just like, what is going on here? Like I have to start the car. There's so many things you have to remember. So that's what made me buy a car. And I went ahead and got that mid-range Model 3. It was wrapped green, some crazy green, drew everybody's attention. And I got in an accident with it on the street. Got totaled, so that's how I got my performance.
Thankfully, you were okay. I mean, that sounds like the Model 3 did an amazing job keeping you safe.
Yeah, it did. I didn't even have a scratch from that. And it was a pretty impactful. It was like a 4-car accident. I got hit from the side, got rear-ended into another car. All the airbags. I was going like 40 miles an hour. And this guy just came across 8 lanes. And wow. I'm thankful that, the car was like brand new too. I had it for like 5.5 months, 6 months almost. But I had 12,000 miles.
Wow, sounds right.
Yeah, that's normal.
That sounds about normal.
Drove that thing, and that happened, and it was sad, but at least the car had my back, and the dash cam had my back. If the dash cam was not running, there would have been no way that I would be able to prove that it wasn't my fault. So that's one of the other things. Everyone listening on this podcast, if you have a Tesla, have your dash cam running 24/7.
You're talking about the Tesla cam, the built-in Tesla dash cam.
The built-in dash cam, yes. So the built-in dash cam.
Just put a thumb drive in there, and so you're recording all the time.
It will do you wonders. You have no clue that's if it's not running, and just when you're not expecting it, the unexpected is going to happen.
Yeah, that reminds me. Someone did ask about the insurance and stuff, and I just recently someone rear-ended my S. I went through the whole process with the insurance, and it was an amazing experience. I mean, they gave me an S as a rental vehicle while it was getting repaired as well.
You have Tesla insurance, right?
I have Tesla insurance, exactly. So amazing. Yeah. Tesla insurance, amazing. They really just took care of me.
The second it came out, I left all other insurance companies and I got with Tesla.
Yeah, both of my Teslas are now under Tesla insurance.
Yeah,
the best way to go.
It's good to have the insurance from Tesla because other insurance like when I got in an accident, I contacted my insurance and they were like trying to send me some random tow truck to come and pick up this car. I'm like, no. I am not having your tow trucks come pick up my car. I'm calling Tesla roadside. And
did you guys see that video of someone towing a Model 3 with the front wheels on the ground?
I was like, no.
Hopefully it was a rear-wheel drive car, but probably because it was silver. But I mean, you don't want to do that. And if tow truck drivers don't know,
you don't want to do that. No. And so it's good to have that insurance from the car company where has the car.
Yeah,
they'll take care of you,
especially for the future when there's going to be full self-driving. You're going to have this ride-sharing platform. Hopefully, I mean, I'm really excited about that. I want to get involved as soon as that's available.
I am too. I think we need more words on that from Elon.
Yeah, definitely. If Elon's listening, let us know.
It's
just DM us.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm just too excited for the future.
Have you driven the new Roadster?
I have not. I've seen it. I've seen it in person. I wish I was in it, but I have never like gone inside or taken a look at it. I saw it at the shareholders meeting when I was, the latest one that was in Palo Alto.
Yeah, that's where we all met, the shareholders meeting.
Yeah.
So true.
In person.
So interested in your thoughts getting a Tesla for the first time and trying Autopilot, and really everyone's thoughts, I guess, and just kind of how that impacted you or your daily life.
Yeah. So I was, like I said, I was in service when I got my first Tesla. So when I first got with Autopilot and started using it, I was just like blown away. Like I was just like, wow, this is not real. And crazy. Like all my friends were just blown away. They're like, this guy's like not driving. Like, that's just crazy. And seeing it like just. And you know when you first when you start Autopilot and like the gas, seeing the gas, if you move your feet over the gas and the brake, you feel that thing physically moving. Like the brake and the gas are moving. It's just like almost like Casper the Ghost is driving, pretty much. It's like there's a ghost driving the car. That just all blows my like it just blew my mind on how crazy it was and like how advanced this system is, even when it like came out.
And then seeing the improvements too, right? I mean, that must blow your mind with the navigate on autopilot, the lane changes, stuff like that.
Yeah, and how much it's evolving just day by day. And from the time that I got my Tesla, I think I've made the most LA trips in my life. I was actually like, I was ready to go, like just go across country with it. There's a music festival called Rolling Loud, and it's in Miami, and I was. I think it's in April, but I don't think it's happening anymore. But I was planning on driving to Miami with my car. And, yeah, it just makes you do things that you would have never done in a gas car.
Yeah. And it's amazing how you can't really process what kind of impact it's going to have on you until you actually try it. And you realize, yeah, I don't want to take a short flight. I'd rather take a longer drive because it's a better experience.
Exactly. I had another friend that started working at Tesla actually he's been there for 2 years. He was never into electric cars, he was always a gas person, you know, just not interested in anything electric or self-driving. And when I was working at Tesla, he would tell me, why? He told me, like, why did you buy a Tesla just because you work there? Like, he simply gave me that question. And guess what he is now? The biggest Tesla fan on the face of Earth.
Did you give him a ride? Is that why?
Yeah, I gave him. Well, he started working for the company. He started working in delivery. And
started driving him, right?
Yeah, I started driving him, and he just saw that. It's like Tesla just is so crazy.
Oh, I have a question, Isaac. So, like, you guys handle all the autopilot, all the data, all the bugs from all around the world. So it all sent to the same team, or you guys have like different autopilot team all around the world?
Nope, we handle everything with the autopilot team here in the United States.
Okay, so like, as I know, like the driver in China or Europe, they have like a different driving habit. So how you guys handle like different situation like that, and different street sign, different regulation, and like it's just totally different.
Yeah, no, trust me, I've lived in every country virtually. I've driven in every country virtually.
You have an international driver's license.
Wow. I have an international driver license, yes. Priority is United States for self-driving, but that's priority. And while that is priority, in the background, other countries are still being worked on. So all the feeds from all those other cars, China, Europe, you name it, they're all coming in. Dubai, yeah, it's all over the world. All those feeds still come in.
What about like roundabouts and stuff that isn't in the, well, I mean, they do have them here. There's not as,
you have to pull the roundabouts on me.
Prolific and huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, roundabouts are one of the hardest. There's so many things going on that the car just needs to pay attention to, and that's one of the most challenging ones. And we're just working on it left and right to get, or they're just working on it now to left and right to get it going as much as they can.
You can never leave the team, truly. Still part
of
it.
No, I honestly, I don't
I notice you're still saying we.
I heard that too.
Well, when you're driving a Tesla, you're part of the team, man.
I don't think I can. Like, I don't think I'll ever be able to leave. In my head, I'm still there.
Well, it really is such a community effort. You know, it's the autopilot team, but also all the users who are going out, collecting data, trying it, giving feedback.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big collaboration between it's also from the customers. The customers are a big part of it. It's they're the main reason why it's getting better and better, because the more cars we have on the road, the better and better it gets. With the more data, especially in third world countries, with different signs, different stops, scenarios, and things like that. And roundabouts are almost in every country, so that's why it's one of the biggest things we're working on to make sure that can.
Oh, really? So you guys are working on roundabout support?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
A lot of people have been asking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's every scenario. Like, I mean, you just drive from here to San Francisco. Think of every scenario you can is being handled, pretty much.
So not just the routes that Elon takes, then.
Not just the routes that Elon takes too. No, those
have to be perfect.
Those have to be perfect. Exactly. Those have to be perfect. But all other scenarios are still accounted for.
So you were talking about Tesla insurance, and you were saying how you have an international, like you've driven everywhere. But do you think there will be a new driver's license class with Teslas?
I don't know if that's going to happen, just because the driver license is assigned to a person. But if there's no person driving the car, then there can be a license assigned to them. Unless you're talking about if there's going to be a license where the driver sits on the passenger side and the car drives. I don't think there's going to be like laws or rules against that. As long as, a new class. I think once regulations and laws allow, and figure out that full self-driving cars are at the point where they can drive freely on the roads without causing accidents, then I think drivers are not needed anymore.
So maybe apart from like the obvious stuff like the technology itself and like the hardware and software combo, what do you think makes Tesla so unique in the automotive and technology world?
I think what makes Tesla so unique in the automotive industry is the amount of respect to its clients and customers, and the CEO that we have, Elon. And Elon is like just having a Twitter that people tell you things to do and you put it in the cars. That goes a long way. That goes a long way. If there's clients that you have that want something in a car that they bought, and they just ask the owner of the company to put that in, that's what makes it difference there, because there's no other car company that I know of that you can't just tweet the CEO of Ford and tell him to put this in your pickup truck.
And Elon's actually putting those features in the car. We get them sometimes within weeks or sometimes.
Yeah, they happen fast. They happen fast, and it's just the integrity and that having with the customers. That's a big thing to have, especially in the car industry where you're selling cars to the mass market, and then you're listening to people on what they want and making the car better than the day they got it.
Yeah, Elon's so efficient; it's wild.
Yeah.
What was your favorite update that you got in your car?
Smart summon, and the traffic light visualization, because it showed that what my team worked on is out there.
I love it. So that's your code out there. I love it.
It's pretty much all a collaborative teamwork that we were able to push through and see, and that's like one of the reasons why I loved my job there, and it was just so fun to see that everything I was doing, I'll go to my car and I see it. Yeah, and there was a good amount of employees there on my team that had cars, good amount of them, but there's so many that didn't, and I'm sure that. And most of those new employees were from Google, Facebook, Apple, and I'm sure they'll get a car soon.
Yeah, I don't know how you could work on it and not want one. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Elon said at the shareholders meeting, there's two things to pay attention to for the future of Tesla: battery technology and autopilot. And I think autopilot is so underestimated. It's not widely appreciated what Tesla's autopilot strategy is and why that has more promise for the future than, say, the approach of Uber. And it's here today. It's not something that's in the future. It's something that people are using in their cars right now. I mean, you'll hear people say on Twitter, oh, I don't know, it had an issue on the highway. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But it's hard for people to realize that they've established a process to work through all of these things. And when they continue to make progress on this, it's going to change everything. Not just Tesla. It's not just going to make sustainable energy and sustainable transport take over gas cars because it improves the cost so much that it makes it actually a better deal than a gas car, even with the extra cost of the battery. It's going to change the entire economy. It's going to change the entire auto industry. People, I mean, you really can't underestimate what a profound change it's going to be to our society. It's like smartphones. Before and after, everything was different. And this is another one of those things where human society changes forever. And people are just, they've written it off. They're not paying attention to it. As we see improvements this year, it's going to start to become a lot more clear what the future holds. And people are debating, okay, is Tesla worth $500 a share? Is it worth $300 a share? If they get even close to achieving what they're planning with autonomy, nobody's going to be having that discussion again. That technology alone is probably worth $200 billion. And so, yeah, those are my closing thoughts, is that the potential of this software is just enormous and it's underappreciated. And it'll change everything about the way you live once it's done. And it may seem slow, but we have a path there. And it's a strategy I feel good about. So this should be an interesting year.
So I think like yesterday or something, I shared a video of an old Elon interview from, I think, 2017 or something. And he said, like, once you solve vision, then autonomy is solved. And that's why Tesla's focus is like so heavily on neural nets and solving these, and that you can absolutely be superhuman with just cameras. And now, just like a few days ago, we saw that video of Autopilot stopping for red lights and stop signs, and which is now in early access, at least for some people. So Autopilot just has like made such an insane amount of progress in such a relatively short time, and it's just really mind blowing. And I think I'm just so excited for what's next to come. And I think, like Omar said, it's really going to change the world, and especially when it gets like widespread approval across all countries, that's going to be amazing.
It'll save millions of lives. It'll transform every good and service in the economy. Every single thing you buy, transportation is a cost. Gas and people. When you buy a can of Coke, there were gas and people involved in moving it. When you buy a MacBook, gas and people. What happens when you don't need gas or people to move things around? The fundamental, Elon said at one point, the fundamental efficiency of the simulation improves. And it's really hard to appreciate just what kind of an impact that's going to be.
I think I like how you're talking about how everything's going to be efficient, and even the tweet that Elon replied to the other day talking about even the HVAC systems, putting them in the house and the whole system being energy efficient. But this isn't anything in depth, but I noticed that the CAPTCHAs are exactly what the neural nets are working on. So anyways.
Yeah, I think that's how Apple is doing their labeling. They're using the CAPTCHAs,
which is
kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And sometimes they're really hard too. You're like, what? Is that a 9 or is it like an S or what the?
It's like split on the screen of the light, and you're like, is that the light? Light? Maybe not the light.
Yeah, now you can see what I deal with.
Nice.
My closing thought is really simple. Like, Tesla being called by disruption company to many industry, and like the autopilot is almost ready. It's getting closer and closer, and finally the real animal will awaken when autopilot is ready. That's the moment. the real disruption company born. That's my closing thought.
Future of Tesla is bright, getting brighter, and it is going to be one of the brightest. It is the fastest evolving company that I have seen. And I've worked. I worked at Apple. I worked at Taco Bell, and I've worked at startups that has failed, and I've worked at startups that have that won, and that are one of the best now. And hearing all this news about Tesla not making it, not there, the stock dropping up and down, like Elon said, is all fuss. If you put that fuss to the side and look at the brighter side of what is really happening, that's gonna open up the future in your mind and for Tesla. It is just moving so fast and so good that it's gonna hit barriers, and the barriers are gonna be there. Those obstacles will need to be overcome, and they will be. And soon, when, like you said, Vincent, when that animal for Autopilot is released, which is going to happen soon, it's just all a matter of time. It's all a matter of time, and Tesla will definitely achieve what it was looking for, and that Autopilot is one of the biggest things that it's looking for. And I can't wait for it to get there, even though I'm not there anymore. If it gets to that point where I really want to go back to Tesla, I think it's gonna happen. I think it might happen. And I just wanted to experience different side of it, and so far I think Tesla is definitely on the brighter side. So go Tesla.
Awesome. And thank you for what you've done for Tesla and for us too, because we get to enjoy the labor of, your fruits of your labor. So,
we no
really
problem.
Appreciate that, man.
It's just, the crazy thing is working at Tesla just gives you that mindset that you are helping lives become safer and safer. You're helping yourself and the community. And that's what gets in your mind, that, I don't even feel obligated to be thanked by doing this, because it's just something that, humanity should do for each other.
Yeah. And that sounds like that's what Elon's mindset is too.
Yeah. It definitely keeps us so much safer, and it's just so convenient, so fun. Really can't thank you and the whole Autopilot team enough for what you're doing. It's, I think, the most important software project in the world that's being worked on today, probably.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, the most important problem that we have. I mean, you look at how many people die on the road each day, every year. It's totally something that no one else except for Tesla is really tackling that seriously. I mean, of course, there's competitors and they're working on it, but Tesla's really accelerated that, right? And not just on the safety side and making full self-driving soon to be a possibility, but on the the EV side, so making a more sustainable solution, because we got to go that way anyway, and then this is just one aspect of Elon's vision. I mean, he's also working on, trying to get us to Mars. And someone had asked as a joke on Twitter, it's like, when do you think the first supercharger is going to be on Mars? But, that sounds kind of funny to us now. But, I mean, this is the future, right? So, all these things that we're doing now are part of something a lot bigger. And we can't even imagine what that's going to be. But Elon's got a good sense of that. And, I'm 100% supportive of getting to that future that's going to make it better for all of us. So thank you again for everything you've done, man. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. And thanks for coming on our podcast. I had a lot of fun chatting with you today and with everybody. And we hope to talk to you again. So, The Road Tesla signing out. Peace, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.